Welcome back, travelers from near and far. I'm your host and storyteller this evening, Timothy Majik. Please make yourself comfortable and join me for another wondrous tale. Tonight I'll be sharing with you a small collection of the fables from the ancient Greek philosopher and ambassador, Aesop. Of course, living centuries before the Common Era, various versions of these tales can be found in many volumes and translations around the world. But if this is your first time hearing these words, I hope you will enjoy. With that, I bring you your first of 3 fables. Belling the Cat. The mice once called a meeting to decide on a plan to free themselves of their enemy, the cat. At least they wished to find some way of knowing when she was coming, so they might have time to run away. Indeed, something had to be done, for living in such constant fear of her claws that they hardly dare stir from their dens by night or day. Many plans were discussed, but none of them was thought good enough. At last, a very young mouse got up and said, "I have a plan that seems very simple, but I know will be successful. All we have to do is hang a bell about the cat's neck. When we hear the bell ringing, we will know immediately that our enemy is coming." All the mice were much surprised that they had not thought of such a plan before. But in the midst of their rejoicing over their very good fortune, an old mouse arose and said, "I will say that the plan of the young mouse is very good. But let me ask one question. Who will bell the cat?" None stepped forward. The moral. It is one thing to say something should be done, but quite a different matter to do it. The Eagle and the Fox. An eagle and a fox formed an intimate friendship, and decided to live near each other. The eagle built her nest in a tall tree, while the fox crept into the underwood, and there produced her young. Not long after, when the fox was ranging for her food, the eagle, being in want of provisions for her young ones, swooped down and seized upon one of the little cubs, and feasted herself and brood. The fox, on her return, discovering what had happened, was less grieving for the death of her young one than for her inability to avenge them. A just retribution, however, quickly fell upon the eagle. While hovering near an altar, on which some villagers were sacrificing a goat, she suddenly seized a piece of flesh and carried with it to her nest a burning cinder. A strong breeze soon fanned the spark into a flame, and the eaglets, as yet unfledged and helpless, were roasted in their nest and dropped down dead at the bottom of the tree. The fox gobbled them up in sight of the eagle. The moral. The tyrant is never safe from those whom he oppresses. The Animals and the Plague. Once upon a time, a severe plague raged among the animals. Many died, and those who lived were so ill that they cared neither for food nor water, and dragged themselves about listlessly. No longer could a fat young hen tempt Master Fox, nor a tender lamb rouse greedy Sir Wolf's appetite. At last, the lion decided to call a council. When all the animals were gathered together, he arose and said, "Dear friends, I believe the gods have sent this plague upon us as a punishment for our sins. Therefore, the most guilty one among us must be offered up as a sacrifice. Perhaps we might thus obtain forgiveness and cure for all. I will confess my sins first. I admit I have been greedy and have devoured many sheep. They have done me no harm. I have eaten goats and bulls and stags. To tell the truth, I have even ate up a shepherd from now and then. Now, if I am the most guilty, I am ready to be sacrificed. But I think it best that each of us confess his sins, as I have done. Then we can decide in all justice who is the most guilty." "Your Majesty," said the fox, "you are too good. Can it be a crime to eat sheep, such stupid mutton-heads? No, no, Your Majesty, you have done them great honor by eating them up. And so far as shepherds are concerned, we know they belong to that puny race that pretends to be our masters." All the animals applauded the fox loudly. Then the tiger, the bear, the wolf, and all the other savage beasts recited their own wicked deeds. All were excused and made to appear very saint-like and innocent. Now it was the ass's turn to confess. "I remember," he said guiltily, "that one day I was passing a field belonging to some priests, and I was tempted by the tender grass in my hunger, and I could not resist nibbling a bit of it. I had no right to do it, I admit. A great uproar among the beasts interrupted him. Here was the culprit who had brought misfortune on them all. What a horrible crime it was to eat the grass that belonged to someone else. It was enough to hang anyone for, much more an ass. Immediately they fell upon him, the wolf in the lead, and soon they made an end to him, sacrificing him to the gods then and there, and without the formality of an altar. The moral: the weak are made to suffer for the misdeeds of the powerful. Thank you for joining me this evening. I have handpicked these stories from the Library of Congress and Project Gutenberg. A pathway to these vast collections of the public domain texts can be found below. I hope you have enjoyed tonight's reading. If you have, kindly let other travelers know where they may relax and enjoy a good story. And I hope to see you again soon, good wayfarer. Until then, may your journey be a safe one.